We are going to talk about creating a map. First thing to do when you're creating a map for this project is go to Page and Print Setup and select Landscape. Click OK. Next, switch to the Layout view. You can do that down here at the bottom of the page or up here under View and do Layout view. And you can see now, you can see the extent of the page very clearly with this drop shadow. Then you can see the map window here as well, the map frame. So you want to create it. These can be added from your screen by just clicking on a certain part, and they're just guides. So your map attributes will kind of snap to that aspect of it. So we want to set all of our maps to 24,000 for this project too. And there you have that. And then we want to start adding particular things. But first we need two known locations. So that you should add your GNIS and select two known locations. These can really be anything. I'm going to select two kind of in different parts of the map to spread them out. So there we have two locations. We can export these similar to how we did in our soil selections and call them two locations. Save them. And again, that showed up down here. Click yes. And essentially we have our two locations now. Remove our GNIS. And these can be labeled very simply by going to Properties, Labels, Label All Features. Click that, and then Apply. Click OK. And you can see now those have been labeled. That's Barberville. And the other one has also been labeled. But they're obviously a little redundant considering the topo map has similar labels. But that's okay for now, since you won't always be doing a topo map as your backdrop. So things that you should also have in your map. Scale bar. Easiest way to do a scale bar is to do one of the non-complex ones. Click OK. Move it to the bottom of the map. If miles works and 1 mile works for you, that's fine. You can also edit properties of your scale bar by right-clicking it and going to Properties. This can have you changing things like adjust from width and add more divisions or change the units of it. So you could do feet and do 1,000 feet or something. Little small scale bar, but that's okay. Then we want to also insert a north arrow. You have a lot of freedom here, and you can really do just about anything, but don't have it too large for your map. Next, you can insert something like scale text. This is useful if you do absolute scale text, just for you to keep in mind the scale is always 1 to 24,000. So next you can do something like insert a title. So I'm not sure exactly what this map will be, but perhaps it could be our watershed delineation map. So click OK, adjust where that title pops out. And now we can also insert some text. The text always starts in the middle, so you want to move that down. And this can just be general text giving you NRS 450, your name, the date, details like that. It is a good habit to also always have data source So those are good map information to always include. So what else do we need here? It's also always good to have a legend. Let's add one more. Let's add our streams in here. Now, unsurprisingly, I haven't digitized a whole lot, but there's a few of them up in that top area. So this is a good time to talk about symbology. So these streams, you can change the symbology of them. Double click, two left clicks on your streams, and then click symbol, and you can change the color. So I want these to be kind of blue and also a little thicker. Then I'll apply that. And now you can see my streams very clearly. Not very pretty, but there they are up there. And the same thing can be done for your two locations. You can also get into symbology by just clicking on the actual symbol. So two known locations, can turn them into stars. We don't want them to be that big, but pretty big. So kind of hard to see, so actually let's make them a little bigger. And apply, and click OK. Now you have two known locations on there as well that have been labeled and everything. So we've got most of our information, but let's add that legend. So insert legend. You want to remove anything that wouldn't really make sense in there. So two locations and streams. Click next. You can change the title, text size, and things like that. Add a quick border, a background, and even add rounding to the edges is okay as well. You can change how your lines are represented right here. So we could do flowing water. We don't have an area, but you can also change the areas. And in this project, you could do natural areas, and water bodies might all be useful, but those symbols are there. Just add to the aesthetic of your legend. So we're moving this up a little bit. Move our watershed. And now we have our legend here. You can change the size of your legend. And then when you finally, and this will update automatically. So if we change our layer name, that will change the layer name and legend. And so it actually looks pretty good. You can also, if you want to change more, some aspects of it, you can convert it to a graphic, and you have even more options for changing aspects of it. You have to ungroup it, and then you can change individual parts of it, such as text size. So we double click our text, can change our text to be a different font and larger maybe. And that will only change that known locations text. Obviously then we will want to expand this out a little bit, expand the background out a little bit, and be careful when you're selecting your entire legend when you move it back, if you've done something like ungroup it. So now we have a legend. We have all the basic aspects. It's not a particularly pretty map, but that's you're at the point where, okay, we have the general map aesthetic going. You could do much more to make it even more pleasing. But for now, that's a good overview of it. Then you'd go up here and print, and then you can print your map. You can also just export it to a PDF if you want to see what that looks like. Okay, that's it for map creation. Thanks for watching.